your trusted partner for business and residency in Lithuania.
Welcome back to the European Residency Insight podcast. I'm your host, Linah, and today we're comparing two popular residency by investment pathways in the European Union, Malta and Lithuania. Both countries attract non-European Union investors who want freedom of movement in Schengen, long-term residence rights, and a stable base in Europe. But while they are often grouped together, the reality is that these two programs are built on very different philosophies. Joining me again is Tom from Pathways.lt, who works closely with entrepreneurs and investors on company formation, business operations, staffing, relocation, and immigration strategy in Lithuania. Tom, great to have you back.
Thanks, Linah. This is a very important comparison, especially now because many investors assume these programs work the same way when they absolutely do not.
Let's start with the basics. When people hear the term residency by investment, what does that actually mean?
In simple terms, residency by investment allows a foreign national to obtain residency rights in a country by making a qualifying investment. But that investment can take many forms depending on the country. Some countries focus on property, others focus on government contributions, and some, like Lithuania, focus on real business activity. Both Malta and Lithuania are members of the European Union and part of the Schengen area, which is why these programs are so attractive. But the expectations placed on the investor are very different.
Let's start with Malta. How does Malta's residency by investment pathway work today?
Malta operates a formal program known as the Malta Permanent Residence Program. It grants permanent residency in Malta through a combination of investment conditions. The focus is not on running a business. Instead, the program is built around property, government contribution, and compliance requirements.
What does an investor actually need to do to qualify?
There are several components. First, the applicant must either purchase residential property in Malta or commit to renting property for a minimum period. If purchasing, the property value must meet a defined minimum threshold. If renting, there is a minimum annual rental value that must be maintained for several years. On top of that, there is a government contribution and administrative fees, which together can be substantial. There is also a mandatory donation to a registered Maltese organisation and a requirement to maintain valid health insurance. Once all conditions are met, the applicant and eligible family members receive permanent residency in Malta, provided they continue to meet the programme requirements.
So Malta's very much a passive investment model.
Exactly. There is no requirement to create jobs, run a company, or actively participate in the economy beyond maintaining the investment. That makes Malta attractive to investors who want European residency without operational involvement, but it also means the entry cost is higher.
What are the main benefits of Malta's program?
The biggest benefit is permanent residency in an EU country. There is visa-free travel within the Schengen area. Family members can usually be included in the same application, and there is no strict requirement to live in Malta full-time. However, it is important to understand that permanent residency is not the same as citizenship, and recent changes across Europe have made citizenship by investment programs far more restricted.
Now let's shift to Lithuania, which works very differently.
Lithuania's residency by investment pathway is entirely business-driven. There is no option to buy property or make a passive contribution. To qualify, you must establish or acquire a company in Lithuania and demonstrate real economic activity.
Let's talk numbers, because this is where people often get confused.
Lithuania requires a minimum total company share capital of €28,000. As an investor, you must hold at least 33% of the company shares. If there is one investor, that investor contributes the full €28,000. If there are two investors, each must contribute at least €14,000, while still meeting the minimum shareholding requirement. The investment must be properly recorded, deposited into the company, and supported by actual business operations.
And what does Lithuania expect beyond the capital itself?
Lithuania focuses on economic substance. The company must be active. That means opening a Lithuanian bank account, conducting real transactions, paying taxes, and complying with local regulations. In many cases, the company must also employ staff. Without a functioning bank account and operational activity, residency extensions will not be approved. Lithuania does not support paper companies.
So, if we compare the two side by side, the differences become very clear. In Malta, the investment is property-based and contribution-based, with higher upfront costs and minimal operational involvement. In Lithuania, the capital requirement is lower, but the investor must actively run or participate in a real business.
That's exactly right. Neither program is better or worse. They are designed for completely different investor profiles. Malta suits investors who want a passive solution and are comfortable with higher costs. Lithuania suits entrepreneurs who want to build or operate a business in Europe and are willing to engage long-term.
So let's make this practical for listeners. Choose Malta if you want permanent residency without managing a business, you are comfortable with property investment and government contributions, and you value flexibility with minimal operational responsibility. Choose Lithuania if you are an entrepreneur, you want your residency tied to a real business, you are comfortable holding at least one-third ownership, and you are focused on long-term economic participation in Europe.
Residency by investment is not just about money. It is about intent, structure, and whether the program fits your real goals. When investors choose the wrong model, the problems usually appear later during renewals, compliance checks, or expansion plans.
Tom, thank you for breaking this down so clearly. Understanding these differences up front can save investors years of frustration and significant cost.
Thank you, Linah. The right strategy from the beginning makes all the difference.
And to our listeners, if you're considering residency by investment in Europe, make sure you look beyond the headline promises. Choose the pathway that fits not only your budget, but your lifestyle and business reality. Until next time, stay informed, stay compliant, and think long-term.